Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. This show that I'm doing today involves a fabulous solar eclipse that we had on Monday. And so if you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Timing is Everything. And it really is, because it was a fabulous solar eclipse. And that's because there were 4 planets in Aries at the time. And so the sun and the new moon were both at 19 degrees of Aries. And before they got into that position, Venus also entered the sign of Aries. And so it is in that sign. The sun and the moon are conjuncting at 19 degrees, and they are conjuncting a 4th planet, Mercury, the planet of communication and of the mind, which is now retrograde. And so it's going backward on its orbit. So it's going backward to the 25th degree, and the sun and the new moon have come forward to the 19th degree. So these 3 planets are all conjuncting. And so let's review what's going on in the heavens right now before we discuss why timing is everything. First of all, there is a retrograde planet right now, Mercury, but all the other 9 planets are direct. And then secondly, all 10 planets are still in the same 4 signs they've been in for a while: Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And among the 10, there are 7 planets that are conjuncting each other. Remember, last week there were 8 planets in 4 different pairs that are conjuncting each other. Well, now there's 3 groups, and there's 7 planets conjuncting, and 3 of them are in Aries. And so a conjunction occurs when planets are within 7 degrees or less in alignment, going along in their orbits, but in alignment. And that means that there isn't enough room for any other energy to get through, and that compounds the strength of the planets. Well, there are 3 in Aries that are conjuncting. Remember, the sun and the new moon at 19 degrees are conjuncting Mercury at 25 degrees. And since Mercury is retrograde, there is the possibility that now, since timing is everything, you can get a new idea of yours off the ground at this time, but it could be based on an old idea that you have had before, since Mercury is retrograde. So this can be a time when something that you had already been thinking about, that possibly had not gotten off the ground before, could really do that now. Because there are various reasons why timing is so important right now for a new beginning, which is what this solar eclipse is really all about. First of all, Aries is the traditional ruler of the first house of self. It rules the I am, and it is a dynamic fire sign ruled by Mars. So an Aries is always somewhat impetuous and impulsive, and wants to get out there and be first and get going. It is not a finishing sign. They don't always stick around for the finish of something, but they are wonderful about getting new things off the ground. And we need people like that are enthusiastic and are not afraid to start new things and are eager to do that. Aries is the sign of the pioneer, somebody who just wants to be out there and be first, but they aren't afraid to go where other people haven't ventured yet. And so they have a very pioneering spirit. And that's good. We need people with enthusiasm that are just eager to sort of jump in and get something done. And that's what an Aries is all about. But it is not a finishing sign. They're so eager in their enthusiasm that they can move on to other things without quite finishing everything that they have completed. But their value is in having that pioneering spirit and helping other people sort of come together and get going, which is great. So this is a time when timing is everything, because a new beginning is very well aspected for everyone. I mean, you're staring at one, you're looking at one right now, because the sun and the new moon were at 19 degrees. That is a number that reduces to 10. We reduce numbers by adding digits. 1 plus 9 is 10. And since that's still a double digit, 1 plus 0 reduces to 1. And 1 is the number of new beginnings. And that's what Aries represents. And that's where the solar eclipse was on Monday. How could you help but make a new beginning now? I mean, just about anybody could get something off the ground now if they wanted to, which is great. Another reason why you are well aspected and the timing is great to make a new beginning, even if it is with an old idea that you've had around for a while, is because the sun and the new moon in Aries are exactly sextile another planet also at 19 degrees, and it is Jupiter in Taurus. Because there's two other planets, there's three that are conjuncting in Aries, there are two other planets that are conjuncting in Taurus, and that is Jupiter at 19 degrees, which is conjuncting Uranus in Taurus at 21 degrees. So that's a pretty tight conjunction. And the sun and the new moon in Aries are exactly sextile that Jupiter. And that simply means there could be some money around now for a new idea of yours, even if it isn't a new idea. If it's something that you've already been thinking about, or that you have been sort of quietly planning in the background of your mind, and maybe you've had to wait a while for it to begin. And times have changed, and people have changed, and economic conditions have changed. We've all grown in different directions. We've all lived through different experiences. So even if you're sort of dusting off an old idea right now, there could be some money around for it. Because Jupiter in Taurus is exactly at the same degree as the sun and new moon were on Monday in Aries, the 19th degree, which, as I've said, reduces to 1, the number of new beginnings. So there could be some new money around, or fresh money around, to help you get your new old idea off the ground and get it going. So that is very good. Another reason why a new beginning for you is favored right now is because, as I mentioned, Venus is also in Aries. Well, okay. Venus is a very good planet. It rules two signs, Libra and Taurus. And so in Libra, it rules partnership and negotiation and the law and legal contracts. But in Taurus, it just rules what you might call big money, because Taurus rules investments, and it rules commercial property, and it rules the New York Stock Exchange. And so it can be that there's not just some money around for your good idea, but there is the possibility that people with investment money or big money can be looking for a new idea. They got to keep going too. And if you're coming along, even with an idea that you've had for a while, if you are thinking of presenting it to some people who do have a pretty good amount of money, you might be successful in attracting them to your venture or your idea. And it could be because they're looking for new ideas. It's not just that you've got one, it's that they're looking for one. And that's why you need to get out and talk to people now, or you need to put together a presentation packet, or you need to do something that can be making contact with people if you need money for your new idea that might be very interested in listening to you right now. Because maybe they need your idea just as badly as you'd like to get it underway. So that is possible as well. However, there is a last conjunction. Remember, I've covered the three planets in Aries that are conjuncting each other, the sun, the new moon, and Mercury, and the two planets in Taurus that are conjuncting each other, Jupiter and Uranus. But there are another two that are tightly conjuncting each other, and that is Mars in Pisces is now very tightly conjuncting Saturn in Pisces. And since Pisces rules things behind the scenes, and it also rules it rules insanity, it rules suicide, it rules deep-seated fears and doubts that we hide from others. It also rules creativity, and it rules photography, it rules the oil and gas business, it rules the pharmaceutical field. But Mars and Saturn are conjuncting now, and these are two malefic planets that are up to no good. And they are in what you might call things that are behind the scenes in your life. And so you may know somebody who is jealous or greedy or is consumed with their own ambitions, doesn't have your best interest at heart at all. In fact, the only thing they're interested in is seeing how much harm they can do to you in one way or another behind the scenes. And that's why this is still a time when you need to keep your guard up high, and you need to keep your defenses around you all the time right now. And do not assume that everyone has your best interests at heart, because it would be hard to spot a person like that because they're clever at hiding in the shadows. Or, you know, they can sort of come and go. Or they can lie quite effectively. And so I wouldn't believe a lot of things unless you see proof of it now. You should ask for proof. This is not a good time to trust everybody. And so you can still get a new beginning off the ground. The effect of a solar eclipse would last for 6 months. So the aspects right now, the timing right now, is so good for making a new beginning and being able to sort of have it financed or be able to get your hands on a little money to get it off the ground. The timing is perfect right now. So just sort of watch where you walk right now or who you're talking to. And be well prepared yourself, but also just be a little bit more careful and defend yourself. You don't need to trust everybody right now, but you can trust yourself and your own good ideas. And this is an excellent time for you to promote them. Because anytime in the next 6 months you could get a new beginning off the ground, but you have to start. You have to talk about it, or you have to communicate. And the planet of communication, Mercury, is conjuncting this, or was on Monday, the Sun and the new moon in Aries. And so that simply means you've got to go with something you've been thinking about, or a good idea that you had that didn't quite make it before, and really go forward with confidence right now, because I think you could get something off the ground and it would make you very happy. So remember, Venus is in Aries, and so a new beginning is rather well favored. And you could find some nice partners. You just need to be you need to concentrate pretty carefully on your new beginning right now and be real serious about it. But I think it has a very good chance for success, so good luck. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. Well, Aries for you, you could be feeling like you're sitting at the top of a mountain because you might be soon, Aries, you never know, because the Venus, the Sun and new moon, and Mercury, all 4 planets were in your sun sign on Monday. And that simply means that if you have an idea that you've had before, remember Mercury's retrograde, and you sort of want to get it off the ground, or you've always wanted to do it, or the conditions around you have changed and now maybe you have time to do it, this is just a perfect time for you to go forward. Remember, the title of the show is Timing is Everything. And for you it is, Aries. And I wouldn't waste a minute. I think you should go forward. There are no other planets in the fire signs, but your sign is loaded. And I think that you would be able to go forward in a rather charming way, because Venus is in your sign right now. And it's possible that people who had been resistant to some idea that you'd had before, or maybe the conditions hadn't been right before, you could be surprised at how easily you can go forward and promote your own ideas right now, particularly an old idea that you had. That I think it's possible that you can be the right person in the right place at the right time right now, Aries. And you should not look back. Just go straight forward. You should have a lot of confidence. How often would a new moon be at the numbers that equal a new beginning, and it's in the sign of the new beginning, your sign, and it's a solar eclipse? Well, how often would that happen? So I think you need to go for it, Aries. Whatever it is, go for it. You are aspected for success. And an Aries has the greatest success at the start of something. And that's why you need to not waste another moment. just be at your best. Look your best. Just go straight forward and say, okay, I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm starting something new now. And there is a possibility, since the sun and moon in your sign are exactly sextile Jupiter in Taurus, right ahead of your sign, that there can be some more money for your new beginning. And so I don't think you have anything to lose and a whole lot to gain right now, Aries, so I hope you go straight forward. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time, Taurus, when I think you're going to be rather lucky with something new behind the scenes that you are starting right now, Taurus. And it can be something that you had been wanting to do for a while. And it could even be something that wasn't a very old ambition of yours, and that you just needed to wait for the right time. And believe me, timing is everything, and this is a good time for you to start something new behind the scenes that I think is something you'd already been working on, or you've already been wanting to do, or you had just gotten pretty well prepared to do it, and now the timing is good for you to go ahead with that. And it could involve someone else who's making a new beginning instead of you, Taurus, but you would be somewhat enthusiastic about their new beginning, because Aries is right behind your sun sign, and it's loaded with planets, including your own ruler, Venus. So behind the scenes, you could get rather lucky right now, Taurus. And if you had some money to invest in someone else's new idea, I think you should listen, because nothing wrong with making money. And somebody could have a really good idea that they had had for a long time, or an ambition that they'd had for a long time. And so this could just be better timing. And conditions have changed, and people have changed. Well, fine. I think that you should go ahead, Taurus. I would say that you probably don't have anything to lose by listening to someone else's good idea or helping them initiate it and get it going. And also, it could be in conjunction with something that you want to do too. And so I think that you're going to be sort of successful with something new behind the scenes right now, Taurus. And I don't think you should wait another minute. The timing is great. You should go for it. There's just, all 10 planets are just in these 4 consecutive signs that they've been in for weeks. But Jupiter in your sign is now conjuncting Uranus. And Jupiter is also exactly sextile the sun and new moon on Monday in Aries, which was a solar eclipse. So behind the scenes, Taurus, your life is going to change, and I would say probably for the better. It will be some sort of new beginning that you're involved in. And I think it's going to be fine. It may surprise you by being even better than you thought it would be. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time, Gemini, when I think you should look before you leap a little bit, and that is because there is a harmful conjunction, just one, but it's there because Mars has come up to a very tight conjunction with Saturn in Pisces, and Neptune is in the sign as well. And Neptune is the strongest planet because it's the only one at home in the sign it rules. And so both Neptune, Mars, and Saturn are all squaring your sun, Gemini. And the problem is not with Neptune. It means you might have been kidding yourself about some dream you've had or the timing of it. But the problem is with Mars and Saturn squaring your sun. And so somewhere in your life, Gemini, there is somebody that's malicious or greedy or just wants to make trouble. Could be a little bit crazy, or could be psychologically disturbed in one way or another, and they may want to take it out on you. Now, if they don't want to take it out on you, Gemini, then remember that your sign rules youth, and they would want to take it out on younger people, because that's what your sign rules. And so if you have young family members, you should really try to make sure they're in a safe place, or that they're having their guard up and they're protecting themselves a little bit more. That would be a good idea. And also, Gemini rules neighborhoods. You should be a little bit careful in your neighborhood. Don't walk down a dark alley, Gemini. That would not do you any good right now. And it isn't because of anything you're causing. It is because somebody has got a mean streak in them, and they don't care who. I mean, they're angry. They could be really mentally disturbed and have problems, psychological problems, and they may not care who they take that out on. And that's why you need to be careful. Same thing for Virgo, same thing for Sagittarius, because those are the mutable signs that are all being affected by the fact that Mars and Saturn are tightly conjuncting right now in the sign that rules things behind the scenes. So you would not necessarily see who it is that would be coming at you right out of the blue. But that is why you need to keep your guard up. And make sure that if you're around any young people that they do the same thing. So that's something you need to watch out for. On the other hand, Gemini, Aries sextiles your sun, and that's where the solar eclipse was. So there's definitely a new beginning coming your way, or the opportunity. Remember, this is a year of opportunities. And there could be the opportunity to start something new, even if it was concerning an idea that had been around for a while. You would have the opportunity to start something new. Maybe it could be something that you'd been thinking about or had heard about, and maybe the conditions had to be right or the timing had to be right. And that could be happening now because those 4 planets in Aries all sextile your sun, and Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus and Taurus right behind your sun sign, and Jupiter is sextiling the sun and new moon in Aries exactly. So there is somewhat behind the scenes, Gemini, there can be a lot of good fortune around for you. I'm just saying, be a little bit careful, keep your guard up anyway, but there's 6 planets right behind your sun sign, between the 4 in Aries and the 2 in Taurus, and they're all very favorable for you, including your own ruler, Mercury. So if you need to dust off an old idea, why don't you do that, Gemini? Because there could be some good money around for that. Or there could be a chance to make a profit. Or you could form a new partnership. But it would be somebody that you already knew. Because Venus is in Aries sextiling your sun as well. So good luck to you. And just keep your guard up and be a little bit more careful. And if you're around young people, make sure that they're protected too. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, when, surprise, there aren't as many planets in Pisces as there used to be. The strength is in the sign of Aries, and that is because there are 4 planets in Aries, Cancer, and they all square your sun. Okay, so on the solar eclipse that occurred on Monday, the sun and the new moon were at 19 degrees, being conjuncted by retrograde Mercury at 25 degrees, and Venus was also in the sign as well, and all 4 of them square your sun, Cancer. And so that simply means that a new beginning could be a little tough to get off the ground right now. And that would be due to the fact that you still have a problem that is somewhat behind the scenes that you need to sort of end or complete or conclude or get away from. And the reason why is that, yes, the 3 planets in Pisces, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune, which is the ruler of the sign and is very strong and represents dreams or goals or high idealism that you may have behind the scenes. But still, Mars and Saturn are conjuncting now in Pisces, and yes, they trine your sun. That means, Cancer, that for you and for Scorpio, you will be able to see who an enemy is. And that's because they're going to make their intentions very clear. And they're all bad. Somebody with bad intentions, or they're consumed with greed or ambition or avarice, or they're just a little bit out of their minds. They have psychological problems. They could be people that you can see now. These planets are trining your sun. But that isn't necessarily good for you, except that you could identify who your enemies are right now. Clearly, Cancer, so could Scorpio. And the thing is that you need to stop that. You need to stop being around those people because they don't have your best interests at heart at all. In fact, they are looking to harm somebody. And I don't see why they would want to harm you. Cancers are not harmful people. They're pretty laid back, and they're homebodies. But still, there's somebody around that wants to do harm, and you would be able to see who that is, Cancer. And I'm afraid that in order to end their influence on you, you would have to end a relationship, or you would have to get away from those people and stay away. You'd have to decide to turn your back and make it permanent. And that would be for your own safety. But at least the advantage to having these planets, even two malefic planets, tightly conjuncting each other in Pisces, which is awful, at least you'd be able to see who's causing the harm. You would be able to see who's really at the root of a big problem. Many people who are psychologically disturbed, they're very good at covering up their own mistakes by blaming the same mistake on somebody else. You know, deflecting responsibility for their own mistakes by saying somebody else made those mistakes. And they can be experts at that. And so look around for somebody who's pointing the finger of blame on somebody else, Cancer. And that might be a real good clue of who one of your worst enemies is, actually. And so you need to be real careful right now, because there is a person around that is that you can't help, because they can't help themselves. You can't even get them to seek help because they're into doing harm. And you need to save yourself. You need to protect yourself. You need not just to withdraw, but to cut ties, because you need to be able to go beyond. Okay, so that's one problem, but at least you can see it. The other problem is that the solar eclipse is squaring your sun, meaning that a new beginning is going to be a little challenging to get off the ground, Cancer. But it can be for various reasons that, they may work themselves out. Or it may be, Cancer, that a new beginning has already been pretty hard to get off the ground. And now, possibly, you could identify why. You could see the enemies behind the scenes that have been blocking a new beginning. And you'll have to end your relationship with those people before a new beginning can really succeed for you as well. And so, you see, it sort of all comes back to whatever's going on behind the scenes that I would say is not healthy for you right now. And I'm not saying that you are the perpetrator, but you could certainly be the victim. And I would say you probably are. You may have been the victim for a long time. As somebody who was making mistakes tended to blame it on somebody else, and it could have been you. And so, Cancer, you need to move on, and you need to have the courage to change. And if you have the courage to change, you can do it. And there can be some more money around, even for you, Cancer, regarding some idea that you've had for a while. And the reason why is that Jupiter, which is exactly sextile the Sun and New Moon, or was on Monday, Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus in Taurus, and they sextile your Sun. The planets in Taurus always sextile the planets in Cancer. And so there is good money around for you somewhere, Cancer. That's another good reason to try harder to get away from people who are stopping you from doing what you want, and cut ties with them and go ahead. Because I'm pretty sure there's more money around for a new beginning now. And you could have been stalled for a long time due to the pressures other people were putting on you or the lies that they were perpetuating. And those people are just not your type, and you need to end it. End the relationship, and just, even if you have to move, you need to get away from it, so that you can go on. And there is some good money to help you make a new start that may have been delayed for a long time. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is the solar eclipse you've been waiting for, and it's the only solar eclipse in a fire sign all year. So Leo, this is a perfect time for you to make a new beginning. So I would say somewhere in your life, Leo, the timing is perfect for you now to go forward, because Venus entered Aries and is trining your sun. That means you could find the right partner now. And you could settle on good and fair legal terms on something, and you should listen to people who are talking like that, because that would do you a lot of good. And then or something could be settled, and that would be allowing you to make a new start. And then the sun and new moon were at 19 degrees, which reduces to 1 the number of new beginnings, trining your sun, meaning that a new beginning is just looking right at you, Leo. It's out there somewhere, and I think you know about it already. Maybe because now Mercury also is trining your sun, but it's retrograde. It can be something that you had wanted to start before, but due to things not quite being right, things are better now because the timing is right. It's absolutely perfect for you, Leo. Now, you could be saying, okay, well, will there be enough money around for it? That could be a little bit, it depends on how big your budget is. Let me put it that way, Leo. If you are thinking that everything has got to cost a lot of money up front, I would say you might have to step back in your estimation, or change your budget, divide your budget into segments or something like that, because Jupiter and Uranus, which are strongly conjuncting each other today in Taurus, are squaring your sun, and Pluto in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign. And so there could be some big money around, but I don't think it's coming your way, Leo, at least not right now. But so you can still make a new start right now, very auspiciously, and with a good partner, because Venus is trining your sun. But you might have to do it on a smaller budget and just wait a while. Maybe all you need is to get more people interested in your new idea. This is not a new idea that would necessarily take you into a whole new futuristic thing, particularly with Pluto opposing your sun. It would be something that you're already familiar with, or something you've wanted to do for a long time, and now you are ready to go forward. And Leo, you're going to make it. You should do it. Say goodbye to yesterday, because you can go straight forward right now. And I think it is also in conjunction with someone else who's very much in favor of your idea as well. It's just that I don't think that all the big money is going to be there at the moment. But you know, whenever you start something new, the first thing a Leo would have to do, since your sign rules leadership, is you got to build a team. And that doesn't take money. That takes people. You know, you got to find the right people, and you all have to be sort of talking the same language, and you have to have people that are experienced in different areas that you don't have any experience in, so that as you build the team, it can be more and more productive with different people's talents. Now, you can do that without spending a lot of money, Leo, and you need to do it, or you'll never attract big money. There's got to be a team. So why don't you work on that for a while, Leo? And I want to congratulate you. You're going to be making a new start, and I think you're going to love it. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. Virgo, this is a time when I think you can say, okay, what's going on in my life? Everyone else is making a new start. How is that going to affect me? Well, the sign of Aries is actually in conjunct or 150 degrees away from the sign of Virgo. And so sometimes a new moon won't have too much effect on a sign that is that far away, because that new moon is not opposing your sun, and it's not trining your sun, and it's not sextiling your sun. In conjunct means it's a little too far away to have a big effect on you. But remember, I said timing is everything. And one thing that your sign rules, Virgo, is time management. Virgos, and it rules efficiency. Virgos are very efficient. They make their time count. And they're very good at taking advantage of things that are slow going. So if one part of your life has been sort of stuck and has been going slow and there have been some problems in it, at the same time, your very good mind could have been thinking of new things that you want to do, even things that you thought of long ago, and you could be feeling like, well, okay, this is not going anywhere, but now I could start something new. And it would be something I've always wanted to do, or something I've been thinking about for a long time, or something that would be of assistance to others, because Virgo rules that, being of assistance to others. So you may want to still start something new. The effect of the solar eclipse lasts for 6 months. Anytime in the next 6 months, Virgo, you could start something new. And it would be something that you'd already had your mind on for a rather long time. Or it could be something that you always wanted to do, but life got in the way and you never quite did it, or at least not as much as you wanted to. But, you know, take advantage of slow changes that are occurring around you right now that you may or may not have any control over, and just keep using that fine mind of yours to think more and more about the strategies that you would want to use and the efficiency, the good time management skills you have in order to do something that you've always wanted to do. Because everybody can make a new beginning right now. It's just that you have to use your own talent. And your talent is that you are able to judge, well, what is worth my time now, or what will be worth my time later. You're really good at figuring all these things out, Virgo. And so, yeah, I think you are going to start something new, or else you've already started something new, and that's going to be fine. Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus in Taurus, and they both are trining your sun. That would be good news by itself, because Jupiter is a planet of abundance and it's in a money sign. But that Jupiter on Monday on the solar eclipse was exactly sextile the sun and new moon in Aries, also at 19 degrees. And that number reduces to 10, reducing to 1 again, the number of new beginnings. But remember, it was the Jupiter that was trining your sun and Uranus. Meaning that you may think that you have to have the money in place first before you can follow through. And you may have been spending your time thinking about something new, but not initiating it until you had enough money to really do it. And I would say, the money's on its way, Virgo. You'll get the money. Or you'll have enough money. And you're good at budgeting. You're good at making your time count. So timing is everything. And I would say you can work on something right now, but as soon as that money does get into your hands, just make sure that your plans are all pretty well tested and pretty set. Don't make them experimental plans. That's expensive. You should sort of try a few little things out first, or get feedback or something, and that way you would be on surer ground by the time you do get the money. And that way you wouldn't waste any money. So just think about it, okay? All right, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. Well, Libra, the solar eclipse in Aries opposed your sun sign. And there were 4 planets, including your own ruler there, Libra. So Venus, which is only at 4 degrees of Aries, so it's very early in the sign, it's going to be there a while, is opposing your sun sign. The sun and the new moon at 19 degrees were opposing your sun sign, and they were conjunct Mercury, which was retrograde in Aries at 25 degrees. So those 3 planets were in a pretty good conjunction, and also all opposing your sun sign, Libra. So Libra, I think somewhere in your life, somebody wants to make a new beginning, and it could involve what you might think of as a parting of the ways. Okay, it means that either if you want to make a new beginning, you're going in that direction, and you might be leaving somebody behind, or else they're going in that direction and they're leaving you behind. One way or the other, there's going to be a change in a partnership, or a change in something that you had grown accustomed to, but it will change now. And I think that everyone can benefit from this solar eclipse. And you can too, Libra. And the reason why is that The fire signs particularly benefit because there were 4 planets in Aries and it's a fire sign. So that means Leo's going to benefit even if there's no planets there. It'll benefit, and so will Sagittarius. Well, Leo sextiles your sun, Libra. Okay, so there's going to be a chance for you even to meet somebody that you would like very much. Leo rules love affairs. Or there could be a new sport that you want to take up. Or there could be some good news about children. And all this would involve something new. Something new. In other words, even if you're not starting something new, other people that you know are starting something new. And you may be interested in what they're doing enough to join them. Or you're going to be making some changes too, Libra. I think that the best change that you will make will be later on when the solar eclipse occurs in your sign in October. That's going to be a biggie. That will be wonderful for you, Libra. And maybe this is a time when you need to get ready. So your new start. Remember, a solar eclipse, this one was a solar eclipse in Aries opposing your sun, and that means that other people are making new beginnings. And because of that, you could be making one too. But it wouldn't be with them. It would be doing something new on your own. And Libra, why not? I mean, you can take advantage of the fact that Pluto in Aquarius is trining your sun. And I would if I were you, Libra, because that Pluto in Aquarius is going to be trining your sun for years to come. And Jupiter is going to come into Gemini May 26th, and it's going to be trining your sun. Do you see what I mean, Libra? Even with the solar eclipse in Aries opposing your sun right now, the important thing is that there's a very powerful planet, Pluto in Aquarius, that's trining your sun, meaning you know somebody in a powerful position, or you know somebody who's pretty much an expert at what they do. They really know what they're doing. Okay, well, that person likes you, Libra, and they're going to keep liking you. And if you haven't met them, you will. You will. And then this is a time when you can be getting ready for the good fortune that is going to start to come your way as early as the end of May, which is only next month, when Jupiter comes into Gemini and also trines your sun. So this is a sort of a preparatory time for you, Libra, when you got to get all the things in the right place. And I would work real hard on that right now. Because if good fortune comes to you by the end of May and you're not ready for it, you might miss it. Why do that? Just go ahead and get ready, Libra, for better things and better days. And better partners. They're definitely going to be headed your way. And so there may be some changes you need to make right now. But I would say they are the preliminary steps that you need to take on a journey that's going to bring you great happiness. And it won't be any later than October. It'll be there by October. But it could be there as early as June, when Jupiter comes in and trines your sun, while Pluto's doing the same thing. You might be moving in what they call a little different kind of crowd, Libra, as the year goes on. And if I were you, I would just, you're very charming. You can just get along with people who do things a little differently than you're used to doing them. Why not? They may be able to take you out of some of the pain and the sorrow that you've experienced that you don't talk about very much, and they may lead you into greater happiness than you've ever known. So you don't have anything to lose by making changes right now, Libra. And if somebody wants to go off and make a new beginning, just wave goodbye. Because you've got better things coming your way. It's just you need to get ready for them right now. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, just like Cancer, with 3 planets in Pisces trining your sun, Scorpio, you are going to be able to really see who your enemies are right now. And the reason why is that Mars, your own ruler, is exactly conjunct Saturn in Pisces. And that's horrible for everybody, because it indicates somebody who really wants to do tremendous harm, or they have great greed, or they would use anybody to get what they want, or they would say anything to get what they want, Doesn't have to be true. They would say it anyway. Or they would deflect their faults and blame other people for them. You know, push the fault away on somebody else and accuse somebody else of making a mistake that they themselves had committed. Okay, well, that is probably not the way you work, Scorpio. Scorpios are a little bit quiet, and your sign rules justice. And this is a very good time for you to see clearly who an enemy is. Okay, so if you know that, then the next question is, what are you going to do about it? And justice has to be done. The justice should involve self-preservation, Scorpio. You need to get away from somebody that wants to cause you harm, or somebody who's lying about you, or somebody who wants to use you, or somebody who wants your money. And they're quite willing to lie about it to get it, to say anything to get it, or to use anybody else to get you. So yours is a fixed financial sign, Scorpio. Money's pretty important to you, but actually your sign rules money management. You're very good at managing money. If there is anybody that you manage money for that is actually very antagonistic, angry, belligerent, capable of lying, or just wants to harm you, you got to stop doing that. You have to get away from them, because now you can see who they are clearly with these planets in Pisces trining your sun. And Neptune is there. And Neptune represents a fond dream that you may have. But I don't think it's going to have a chance of coming true with somebody else that wants to block your every move, Scorpio. And so you need to get away from the person that has evil intent, because it's aimed right at you. And your sign rules survival. You've got to survive. And that means you've got to cut somebody out of your life completely, because they're never going to change. They're sick. They need help, but they don't need your help because you're their victim. Okay? So you just got to stop being their victim. And that means, you know, you can find a way to avoid them, or you can find a way to cut off the relationship with them in one way or another. Stop communicating. You may not owe them anything, particularly not any more money, or any money. And so if they're bothering you, you need to step back, have the courage to change, go in a different direction. That'll do you a lot of good, Scorpio. It will help you survive, mentally, psychologically, physically, in every way. And that may actually help you make a dream come true, if you sort of cut out whoever or whatever is preventing you from being with a dream, or achieving an old idea you've had whose time has come, but you have to get rid of the barriers to it. And there's a personal barrier somewhere around in your life, Scorpio, that is causing you not to be able to make a dream come true. And it's purely from evil intent. And so that's why you need to cut that person out of your life completely, and then go right ahead. Everybody is aspected for a new beginning. You know, it's not a question of whether you have the money to make a new beginning. I think you do, Scorpio. It's what's standing in your way, or who's standing in your way. You have to do something about getting away from them, or pushing them away from you. And because your life is every bit as important as theirs is, or anybody else's is, and you have a right to live with justice and peace and happiness in your life. But sometimes people just have to stand up for themselves and do what they have to do in order to be free, to rise higher and do their best. And you can see who's in your way. You can see somebody who's trying to stop you. Mars and Saturn are trining your sun. So you can benefit from your very clear vision right now, Scorpio. But the next question is, what are you going to do about it? Because you got to do something about it real quick. because it can only get worse. And who do you think is going to get hurt? You, because you're the intended target. You're the intended victim. And that's why I'm saying no. You got to just say no and mean it. So good luck, Scorpio. Once you get this really deranged enemy out of your way and let them go on and make somebody else sick, then things are going to work out pretty well for you, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, hooray for you! This solar eclipse is really going to get you on the path to a new beginning. But it could be a new beginning involving an idea that you have had for a very long time, Sagittarius, because Mercury was retrograde in Aries and was conjuncting the Sun and New Moon at 19 degrees on Monday, and it's a solar eclipse denoting a new beginning, and they, plus Venus, the fourth planet in Aries, were all trining your Sun, Sagittarius. Lucky you. If you wanted to take a long trip right now, there wouldn't be anything stopping you. You could do it. You could plan it. And if you wanted to do something in higher education to improve your education, you could do it. If you were involved in wanting to be more helpful to people from foreign countries, or you are following a court case really closely, you could do that and it would benefit you. So anything that you decide you want to learn right now, or you want to teach, or you want to talk to people about, you're going to benefit. You could also meet somebody who is absolutely delightful and would make a very nice partner of yours. And that's because Venus is trining your Sun right now, Sagittarius. Even if you were in a romantic relationship, it would get better right about now because Venus is trining your Sun. So, Sagittarius, there's just a whole lot of good things coming your way. You should take advantage of all of them because there's only one conjunction that's causing a real headache for everybody, and it is that Mars is conjuncting Saturn, two malefic planets closely conjuncting each other in Pisces, and Neptune is there as well. It's a very good planet, but all three of them are squaring your Sun, Sagittarius. And so you too need to watch out for people who don't have your best interests at heart. And in fact, they simply, I think in a way, they just want to push you aside, Sagittarius, so they can impress everybody with their great ideas. And they would not stoop at anything to get what they want. Remember, Mars and Saturn are malefic planets, and they are in Pisces, which rules things behind the scenes. In a way, if you knew anybody that was involved in any illegal activities, they would consider you as somebody who was standing in their way. And you know, you need to be pretty careful where you walk right now, Sagittarius. Actually, I think you're going to be real successful at making a new beginning. I think you're going to be more successful than you realize. Or something that is just an idea that you've had that you've been thinking about for a long time, and probably you've got it pretty well planned, different things that you have to do to implement the idea. I think you're already on that, Sagittarius. But you still have to watch out for people that just want to get in your way or in your face. And go around them, Sagittarius. You can avoid them if you want to. You might have to work pretty hard at that. So don't make yourself a target. Keep your guard up. Because there's so many good planets in Aries trining your Sun right now that you really have to head for the light. You have to head for something that will make you happy. That's Venus trining your Sun. And also something that represents a new start. Either a new start, even if you haven't thought of a new start, there could be one just headed your way, Sagittarius. And it doesn't matter where it's coming from as long as there are people that are sort of on the up and up, because you ought to say yes. If you get an invitation to start something new and you feel that it's from a reputable person, you should say yes. You have no idea where that's going to lead, but it's probably going to take you further than you could ever get on your own. And that's a good reason to say yes. So I hope you do. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you could say, I know I have to make a new start, but gee, there's a lot of things wrong with it. And you could be thinking that a new start was challenging you quite a bit. And you're probably right on that, Capricorn, because the Sun, Venus, the new moon, and Mercury in Aries on Monday under the solar eclipse were all squaring your Sun. And so I think that there is a new start. It could even be a repeat of something that you'd wanted to do before, because Mercury is retrograde. So it might be that you're thinking of making a new start that is something you've always wanted to do, but there could be challenges to it. Or the timing could not be as great as you would want it to be. In other words, what if you were wanting to start a new job, but something came along instead and sort of made it, and it could be your employer had to do layoffs instead, something that's out of your control. And so it doesn't happen. And so you could say, oh, that was getting in my way right when I wanted to start something new. And so you could be looking at it as an obstruction or an obstacle to a new start that you wanted to make. Well, you'd be right about that, but at the same time, Jupiter and Uranus are conjuncting each other right now, and they are, so that makes them twice as strong, Capricorn, and they are trining your Sun. There's more money around somewhere for you, or else your investments have grown in value, which would be good for you. That's nice to know. And so it can be that something that you wanted to do, even an idea that you'd had for a long time, can be somewhat delayed right now by something else that's a little bit beyond your control that you couldn't do anything about anyway. But it could be delayed, or it could prove to be challenging. But that doesn't mean that you're wrong on your new idea. You're not wrong, Capricorn. It doesn't mean you can't afford a new idea. You can afford it. It is that something else is causing a delay or getting in the way, or there is another problem that you have to attend to first before you can go and do what you want to do. And I would say, okay, we all have problems that we've got to work on and try to get out of the way. It's tax time. Nobody likes doing their taxes. That's a problem for everybody. And so, do you see what I mean, Capricorn? There may be something that's sort of stopping you from doing exactly what you had been planning to do this spring, but on the other hand, it's not stopping you forever, and it's not your fault. It's something else that's getting in the way. And if you could get around it, fine. But you may have to attend to something that is a problem before you can be free to go your own way. The good news from all of that, Capricorn, is that you can afford it no matter when it happens. Just remember that. That nothing's really going to stop you from making a new beginning. It's just that you got a little something that's causing a delay right now. That doesn't mean it's going to stop your new beginning. And it doesn't mean you can't afford it. In fact, maybe you could afford it a little bit more now. It's just that the title of the show is Timing is Everything. And so you may have to put something else off for a little bit longer, is all I'm saying, Capricorn. But if you're patient, and Capricorns, I don't know how they do this, but they can understand and they can make time work for them. Because the ruler of their sign is Saturn, and Saturn rules time. So Capricorns know how to make their time worthwhile, even when they're facing delays. So you can do that, Capricorn. But I think the little silver lining in all of this is that when you get ready to make a new beginning, you're going to be able to afford it. And it will work out just fine. A little delayed, but it's still going to be fine. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when you can be feeling almost as if you're sort of sitting pretty because Pluto is in your sign right now, and it is direct, and it simply means that either your responsibilities can be growing little by little or slowly, or the estimation that other people have of your skill level is rising slowly but it is. And so that simply means that your power is increasing, Aquarius. And so could your confidence be. You could be a little bit more sure of your past achievements and realize that they have put you on a little higher plane. Or it is also possible, as I said, that the world has changed. And because the world has changed, others could value your skills even more than you value them. Because, you know, when the world needs a voice of reason, yours could be it, Aquarius. Because Aquarians, they have a sort of a vision of being able to see into the future or to think up new things for the future. And they are generally ahead of their time because Uranus is your ruler. Your ruler, Uranus, and Jupiter in Taurus are squaring your sun. You may be worried right now about whether you would have enough money to make a new beginning that was based on an old idea you had had before. Remember, Mercury is retrograde, but was conjuncting the sun and the moon, which ruled new beginnings. And I would say that there is the possibility, since that sun and new moon in Aries were sextiling your sun along with Venus and Mercury and Aquarius, they were in turn, the sun and the moon were also sextiling Jupiter in Taurus. Now your sign squares Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, but the 4 planets in Aries didn't. And they represented new beginnings, and they represented the fact that there could be more money around for a new beginning, and Aries sextiles your sun. So you may be in a position and have the skill level to make a new beginning, and you may be wondering where the money's going to come from. And I would say, if you can hook up with some other partners, that financial burden would be shared by you and them, and they may have the money. You never know. But you would have the good ideas and the skill to put those ideas into practice. Do you see what I mean? I think big money is looking for new ideas, and Aquarians always have new ideas. And the solar eclipse was sextiling your sun. And that included 4 planets there. So Aquarius, there is still a way to get what you want, is what I'm saying. It's just that if you want money, I think it's going to be coming in through others, and they'll want something for it. And you're the one that has a fertile imagination and skills, important skills, and ideas that are ahead of their time. And there are people around in the world now that have sort of run out of good ideas, and they have money, but they're looking for people like you, Aquarius. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got an offer from somebody that was interested in backing an idea of yours. You should develop your idea more clearly and in a better presentation so that you could present it to people. You might be surprised at what they offer you in return. I'm thinking it would be pretty good. And if nothing else, it's a start, a good start. So think about it, Aquarius. This solar eclipse can work for you. And it might be that the money has to come from some other source, not just from you. But who cares? As long as you go forward. That's what counts. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when you can have the best and the worst both happening at the same time in your life. So part of that would not be any fun, would it, Pisces? And the reason why is that Mars and Saturn are both conjuncting tightly in your sign right now. And so, Pisces, if you know of anybody who's got a grudge, either on you or somebody else, you could suffer for that right now. And that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun. But on the other hand, Neptune is also in your sign. It's the strongest planet in any of the signs because it's the only one at home in the sign it rules. And yes, the solar eclipse was right ahead of your sun sign, Pisces. So there's 4 planets, including Venus, right ahead of your sun sign. You need to step out of the shadows of relationships that are harmful to you. They aren't just bad for you. They're really hurting you, Pisces. And don't kid yourself about that now. You know, You do not benefit at all from sort of rubbing elbows with the wrong company right now, or anybody who's malicious, or anybody who's doing anything criminal. It wouldn't do you any good at all, Pisces, because somebody wants to harm others behind the scenes. And you are a Pisces, and those two planets are in your sign. So Pisces are pretty nice people. They don't go around thinking of trying to harm other people. Generally, they're sort of trying to help people and forgive people. And, you know, this is a time when if you are nice to people that want to hurt you, you're only going to get hurt more. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in such a vulnerable position to be hurt by your own worst enemy? You know, don't do that, Pisces, because the only person that's going to get hurt is you. So don't ask for it. You need to get away from people like that, far away. You need to rise up to your best and highest dream and to your best self. You know, Pisces are pretty great people. You need to be a great person right now, Pisces. You need to be doing your best. And if you need help with that, you need to link up with other people who are your ideal, who also want to do their best. But you really need to stay away from others that only want to harm you. And they may have their own selfish reasons for doing that. And they could be two-faced. They could be pretending they care about you at the same time they're putting the knife in your back. Have you noticed that, Pisces? I think you would. Because whoever is your worst enemy, you know them pretty well, I think. And unfortunately, they know you pretty well. And so it's just like two daggers going at each other. And that has to end right now, Pisces, because somebody's going to get real hurt. And it's not necessarily that you want to hurt the other person, but it is quite true, they want to hurt you. And they will not stop at anything. So you have got to get away from them completely. End the relationship. And move if you have to. You know, cut ties. You could get somebody else to talk to them. You don't have to talk to them. And so this is a time when you need to really keep your guard up. You really need to protect yourself. That solar eclipse was right in front of your sun sign, Pisces. There is a new beginning right on your horizon. But you have to step out of the shadows of your past. You have to step out of the darkness that someone else has been creating around you. They might have been doing it by lying to you or about you. They might have been doing it by using other people to manipulate you and control you. But whatever they've been doing, it's horrible for you, Pisces. And you have to end that. And if you have to talk to them at a later time, send somebody else to do it. You know, don't. What did Churchill say? Something about you don't negotiate with an enemy when your head is in its mouth. And Churchill was talking about Hitler and saying you don't negotiate with an enemy when your head is in their mouth. And that's about where you are right now, Pisces. Somewhere in your life. I'm not saying your whole life is bad. All I'm saying is somebody wants to hurt you. And you can't negotiate with them. You have got to get away from them and end it. Because your values are not their values. And that should be quite clear to you now. So you have no excuse. And so I'm just urging you to end something, a very harmful relationship. And it was harmful for a long time. It didn't just happen, Pisces. It might have gotten worse now, but it wasn't good to begin with. Even if it looked good, I don't think you were happy in it. And so you need to move on quickly. And there is a new start somewhere, just waiting for you, Pisces. So turn your back on your enemies, move if you have to, get away from them, stop talking to them, and move right into a new beginning. It's right ahead of you. And boy, is it well aspected to succeed. So I hope you go for it. Good luck. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that all of us get off to some sort of new beginning, even if it is based on an old idea. Why not? Because you could be the right person at the right place and the right time right now. And it would all be allowing you to move forward in your life. And that's the direction we all should be going in. The one thing we've all got is tomorrow. We all have a future. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, walking right into it. So I wish you the best of luck. And if you'd like to subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, I'd love to have you do that and tell your friends about it. And you can read my blog on my website, starborninstitute.org. So until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.